What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Andrew Jakubitz, on the microphone on a Wednesday evening, per usual. Also, as usual, I'm joined by my co-host, Eric Hess. Eric, how's life?
Life's great, man.
That's good. Raining Wednesday night. You're working here all day, so I bet this will be a nice break.
Yes, this is a very nice break. I can talk to some people.
It's true.
How's Silver October going?
It's going. I haven't had a beer in 23 days. My friend doing it with me is going on vacation tomorrow. He's going to Arizona, so he's going to really struggle this weekend. I'm just going to play Call of Duty because it comes out on Friday, so I'm just going to do that all weekend, and I'll be home free. But I don't want to keep our audience from our awesome guest today. So we're joined by professional fighter Jordan Griffin, who is also my coach at Griffin Sports, where I train jiu-jitsu. So Jordan, how's life?
Oh, it's good. It's good. Let's wave to the camera.
Yeah, I'll check it out on YouTube.
No, everything's good, man. Thank you for inviting me on.
Oh, thanks for coming on. It's honestly a pleasure. You are almost a coach in almost every one of the classes I've been in, so I'm actually glad you came on. I'm interested to hear the stories that you have baked in your head. So, to give people a little background on you, professional fighter, fought in UFC so far, record of 17-7. What's it like? What's your story? Give us the couple-minute blurb on yourself on your bio. What's your Wikipedia page say?
I don't know. I should Google it. I should Google it, see what that shit says. Complete shit.
Eric's updating it right now.
Why? Who did this? But no, it's been a learning experience, and I've been in the UFC for 1 year. I got in last year on season 2 of Contender Series, and Dana White himself picked me to be there or to be in the UFC. So I'm happy I flew out there. I learned a lot just about the business and the business side of being a mixed martial artist. And it's been interesting. So just continuing to learn and grow and get in there.
That's got to be a little intimidating. Dana White.
Dude, it was. I mean, he picked me, and it's funny. I shook his hand, but other than that, I had a conversation. It's like, thank you for changing my life. Okay, well, I'll see you later. So, yeah, but no, dude, I'm extremely grateful for where I am, and my last 2 fights they didn't come out the way I wanted them, but everyone's like, hey, well, at least you didn't get your ass beat. I went out there and I fought. They went to decision. I hate decision fights. Absolutely hate decision fights. I was trying to finish the guys that didn't happen, but I learned a lot, and I'm ready to go back. So, and I'm actually moving up to 155 pounds. So I won't be cutting 30 pounds now. I'll be cutting 10. Be cutting 10 pounds. So I'm really happy about that.
Why is that? Is that just for that specific fight, or are you saying going forward?
I'm just going forward. I'm 29, man. I started doing this. I started fighting professionally in 2008. And I was 18 years old, and I graduated from, 18 going 19. I graduated from Pius XI. Everyone's like, what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do after high school? I said, I'm gonna try to go to college, and I'm gonna be a professional fighter. Everyone's like, oh my God. They go, oh my God, Jordan, why would you wanna do that? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I tried wrestling out, and I was like, man, wrestling's fucking great, but I only tried it out my senior year. And then when it was only my senior year. When the year was up, I was like, well, I want to keep doing this. And I met somebody, and their uncle was like, hey, you can do it. You can do it over here. Don't do boxing. Come do this. I said, what is it? It's wrestling, but you can punch people in the face. I said, yeah, I'll try that out. Yeah, I was like, cool. So that's how that happened.
So professional fighter, was that kind of always your thing? Or what was it before you started wrestling? What was the end goal for Jordan Griffin when you were a freshman in class?
Dude, just stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was just stay out of trouble, dude. I was always just doing something just nothing bad, but nothing good, So I think it was really something that I latched onto, and how a lot of people, you just kind of find your thing and you run with it, and this was always my thing, even in high school or even end of high school and going into college, and I dropped out. I went to UW for 1 year and dropped out. And then I said, when I'm doing really good in fighting, I'll come back. I'll go back to college. So I got signed to the Contender. Got signed to the UFC, and this was last year, 2018. Got signed to the UFC. I got my transcripts for college, and I put it in my 2 envelopes, and I set it down in this folder. And I was like, I'm going back to college. And then I was just like, I should get back to training first. And I just got back to training and things have kind of moved on. But since then, I kind of figured out what I really want to do. I don't want to go back to school. I got 30 credits, college credits. I think it's just not for me, so I signed up through Shore West Realtors to be a real estate agent.
Nice.
And then I'm starting a property management company in January. So I'm just kind of just going that route. I work hard. I already have the work ethic. I'm just gonna run with it. You know what I mean? And
Nice.
hope for even more success. So.
That's great. Entrepreneurial minded, even kind of just using, instead of trying to start a business, using what you have already, which is your body and your mind, to take it to professional fighting. But 10 years ago, the UFC wasn't as big as it is now. So did you got brought into MMA right away? And what was that scene like, 10 years ago?
Oh man, it was like back then, and Coach Gerald Richard,
Yeah.
he's in UFC too. Gerald was like at my first fight, me and him. I've known Gerald for like 10 plus years now. And it wasn't anything like it is now. Like, they didn't have commissions in the state, so people weren't getting tested, blood tests and all that stuff. It was kind of like the Wild West, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just showed up, hey, you want to fight me? Yeah, let's do this.
Sure. Was
Sure.
there weight classes or anything? Because I remember like UFC 3 with Royce Gracie fighting in the gi.
Yeah, that was way before me. But I was in right before when the commission hit. That's when I started fighting. But it was still like super early on, and I just remember seeing all the pro fighters and thinking I was an amateur and thinking like, man, I want to be like these dudes.
Sure.
These dudes fight every weekend. They make $4,000 a month. In my head, that's what I thought. And you know what I mean? At the time, after the commission came, the only reason these guys made so much money is because they could fight 3-4 times a month. You know what I mean? And so they'd fight one weekend, and guess what? They'd be back in there fighting the next weekend.
That's
so
crazy.
yeah, so that's what I saw. That's what I was exposed to when I was younger, and I was like, man, I want to be like those dudes. Some of them were beasties, some of them, got their ass whooped every weekend. But it is what it is. It's the game.
Yep.
And I was like, man, that's what I want. So. But then the commission came, and then I was like, damn, that's not what I got, but I still like fighting. I still love fighting, so I stuck with it.
So the commission, what is that?
The commission is just like the commission. Every state has a commission, and they're basically they're the rule keepers. You show up, the commission makes sure the fighter gets paid.
Like a governing body, basically.
Yeah. They make sure the fighters get paid. They make sure that the promotion is doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they make sure the fighters are doing what they're supposed to be doing. If anybody acts out, then they gotta find that person. Yep, they test them.
Mm-hmm.
They test them for PEDs and others. So they just make sure everyone's safe. So at first I thought it was a pain in the ass, the commission, but now I'm like, man, thank God we have commission. You know what I mean? Because we have a lot of people out here trying to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Exactly. It's like any sort of governing body, like to a certain extent anyway, that there's a little bit more bureaucracy and you gotta go through probably a couple more steps, but it's overall safer and better for the sport, usually again at most circumstances. So what is a mindset? What is your mindset going into a fight? What's that like to somebody who's never been in a situation like that?
I was talking to Professor about this. I was like, man, because when I won all those titles, man, I won there's 7 or 8 titles. No, I think it's 7 titles. And dude, I was just killer. I'm I cut all that weight. I just felt mean. And I think going into the UFC, at least these last 2, I'm just so set on learning. Everything was so new to me that I just wasn't in the same mindset. So I think going into this 3rd fight into the UFC, I don't know who I'm fighting, when I'm fighting, but I just gotta get back to being fucking mean. Just
trying to kill the other person.
Mean. Yeah, I'm like that fighting regardless. But we're talking, Jordan, you have a fight and it's in 8 weeks. From that moment on, 8 weeks through until I get back home, I'm mean.
To everybody?
Maybe not everybody, but I'm just like, oh, hey, Jordan, you want to go out to the club? No, I don't want to go out. I want to go to the gym. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to go train. I want to get this done. So I just think that I need to get back into that mindset. But that's where my mindset, for the most part always is I just need to be there. I need to be aware. Need to constantly learn, and I just want to. You want to win. Everybody wants to win.
Definitely. So what is the training regimen look like from you? The moment you know when you have a fight, it was about 8 weeks out, you said? Like, what does that look like? Like, what type of shit do you do?
Well, now that I'm moving up a weight class, I'm lifting a lot more. So I've been lifting the last couple of weeks. Been eating a lot more.
Which is probably nice.
Yeah, it's very nice, and I feel stronger. But most of the time, it's pro practice at 1:30 till about 3, and then I'm at the gym at nighttime, and I teach the jiu-jitsu. I assist professor teaching the jiu-jitsu classes, and then after that, I hit pads. But in between that, sometimes I do like the no-gi classes and other stuff like that. So I'm just I'm at the gym a lot. But
And what gym is that?
Rufus Sport. I'm at Rufus Sport a lot. Yeah. I gotta represent.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that was a good question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's awesome. So how long have you been actually at that jiu-jitsu gym too?
I've been there for 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I was around, they called me in first. I was at Adrian Serrano's. They called me in, Duke and Anthony called me in to spar when Anthony was about to get ready for his WEC world title.
Anthony Pettis.
Anthony Pettis, yep. Yeah, so that's how long I've been at Rufus Sport, been around Rufus Sport, been around those guys. So
It's been an awesome gym so far, a great environment to be in. I've only been there about a month and a half now, so fresh meat, as you might say, going to a gym like that, around guys like Anthony Pettis, Sergio Pettis, Duke Rufus himself, and the guy, co-owner of the gym. So yeah, that's a really great question because that was going to be one of mine. But I want to get a little bit more broader here because I've been talking to a lot of people that I know, and I'm like, yeah, I started training jiu-jitsu, and I think a lot of people's minds go straight to MMA and think about grounding and striking. You know, if you were just going to give a 30-second explanation of what jiu-jitsu is to somebody who's never heard of it, what would it be?
Jiu-jitsu is like self-defense off your back, and it was originally based off of like a smaller person being able to defend themselves against a bigger man. And so jiu-jitsu is, you're able to submit somebody, you're able to either choke them out by the neck, you're able to grab an arm, and you can, you're going to make them tap by manipulating that, that joint in the opposite direction. Or if they don't tap, then they pass out. So yeah, jiu-jitsu is, it's a self-defense, and a lot of it originally used by people who are a little bit smaller to help you defend yourself against someone who's bigger. So. And now everybody does it, so.
Yeah, it does seem like
everyone all over the world does jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is amazing.
Yeah, and then to plug the gym a little bit, Rufus Sport offers also kickboxing, MMA, Muay Thai, regular wrestling, and then no-gi grappling, which is very similar to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, no-gi grappling, which is like submission wrestling, pretty much. Submissive wrestling.
And that's probably what you focus on more when you're actually ready for your.
When I'm in camp, I was talking to Rafian Stotts about this, and I was telling him, I was like, that's all I did when I first started, and that was like the big thing. And I think I'm kind of, it's weird. You're learning everything. When you learn something, you're constantly trying to grow, but then you somewhat just circle back around to what got you to where you are, and that's where I'm at right now. I was like, man, I need to go back to the submission wrestling, that ground and pound, that MMA sparring I was doing all the time. Because I was doing that like every day at one point. Now I only do it like once or twice a week. So I need to get back to that and really focus on a couple other things.
Okay. Do you have a specific trainer and coach or whatever? What does that look like for you too?
I have Professor Wanderlei, and he's a 3rd degree black belt through Carlson Gracie, and then I have Coach Cushman, Scott Cushman, and he's my striking coach. Okay. And then I worked with Joe Nichols, who's also a striking coach there for years, and then always Duke. So Coach Duke Rufus. So.
Okay, and those are the people you work with pretty much every single day?
Yeah, those are the guys, I'm making any fight decisions or anything like that, those are the guys I'm talking to about stuff. Nice. So besides my management.
And they travel with you to fights, right?
They travel out to me, and they go everywhere with me, so yeah.
Nice. I had a question, I just lost it. Okay, so you don't know when your next fight is. What is the process for that like? And now that you're in the UFC, you're in big times, is it just you're going to get a call, hey, you're up? Or do you have an agent working for you?
Pretty much, yeah, it's just stay ready. So right now, my weight's low because I don't have much weight to cut. It's just stay ready, and right now it's really just working on all those small things that I need to work on from all the other fights. Okay. So what I like to do is, when I get a fight, I'll look at the dude's last 3 fights. You know what I mean? Sure. I won't really study them too much, but I'll look at their last 3 to 5 fights. And for me personally, when I'm trying to just kind of, how do you say this? I started out, I was 1-3. You know what I mean? I'm 17-7, so it's been a long trip. But what I like to do now is I'll look over my last 3 fights, 3 or 4 fights, and I'll be like, okay, this is what I did wrong, this is what I did right. Even when I win, I've gone on multiple winning streaks, and I'll just be like, this is what I did wrong, this is what I did right. Then the next one comes, and then all of a sudden it's like, cool, I finished that fight way faster because I was able to fix a little stuff. So right now I'm in that process as I'm just kind of figuring out what's wrong, what's right, and gonna fix things going into the next camp.
That's a smart idea. It's just like any NFL, NBA team that's gonna go back, look at the game tape. What did we do wrong? Like, it doesn't matter if you won, you lost. There's always room to improve, especially in a sport such as MMA, where there's so many different moving pieces, and every single different match that could always be different, right?
Oh yeah.
What is so you're in a fight, you're in round 2 right now. What's going through your mind? Do you have a set game plan, or are you you have an idea of where you want to go, but what happens if it doesn't go that way? What's your mindset like?
You know what, these last 2 is, dude, I felt so weird. Like, I think, round 2, it's like I can really think back to round 2 because I feel like in both of my last 2 fights, I could have finished the fights in round 2.
Really?
I had parts where I could have finished, but I didn't. And I think right now, it's more or less focusing, because I'm moving up a weight class,
Sure.
Focusing on explosion. I want to be explosive. And when it comes to that point where I see him kind of stumbling, I want to just run through him. So I'm round 2, if we even make it to round 2.
There you go.
I just want to finish. That's my mindset the whole fight. I want to finish you. I'm trying to finish you. I'm trying different ways to finish you. It's just, UFC, everybody's high level. So it's like, it's time for me that I gotta step up. I gotta show people that I belong there. So.
Hell yeah. This is one thing I'm always curious about when it comes to anybody who's a professional fighter. What's it like to walk into a room and know you can kick everybody's ass? Is there a little empowering about that?
I don't even think about that stuff. No, I think, dude, I've just always been so nice. Like, I think even Professor said, he's like, man, when you go places, you're Jordan Griffin. When you fight and step in that cage, you're Native Psycho. And people they can tell that shit, dude.
Yeah.
But when I meet people, a lot of people go, you don't even look like a fighter. You're so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I just try to keep it that way. I don't ever think like, man, I can kick everyone's ass. There are times when I'm like, man, I want to fuck this dude up. You know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna walk away. Yeah, I'm like, fuck this guy. But in my head, I'm like, fuck this motherfucker. This fucking asshole. I go home and text my mom, yeah, this guy's a real dick today. I'm like, what did he do?
Texting the mom, that's always a good way to do it. Good way to bet.
Yeah, my mom got me really amped up after this last loss, because she's like, what happened to you? And I was like, oh shit.
Oh,
yeah, my mom has this weird power of like pissing me off and motivating me at the same time.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I used to watch you murder fuckers for $200. Now you're getting paid more, and this is what I get.
Now how much did you get your ass kicked and paid more?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Like, what? And I was like, you know what? There's a lot of truth to that, though. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, I was just demolishing people, retiring people for $200 because I wanted it that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I still want it that bad. And and I fucking got my gear ready and I went to the gym and I was just like, okay, it's time to fucking get things rolling. And I've just been fixing things since then. Ever since she said that, it was like literally maybe the next day, right when I got back from Canada, she said that to me. She just shook her head. She's like, I don't know. I said, oh shit.
Uh-oh. So you mentioned it earlier in this conversation that it's kind of going back to what got you there. Do you think that making it to the UFC, which I'm not sure what, and maybe this is a second question to what your ultimate goal was, but do you think that was kind of your maybe even in subconsciously, you're kind of like, I made it. I don't need to try as hard, or maybe you just didn't want it as much, or what?
Yeah, you know what? No. If you don't want to be the champion, then you shouldn't be in the UFC.
Right.
You shouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like, if I wanted to float around and just fight and say I'm a fighter, then I would have just stayed on the local circuit. I would never even try to be in the UFC. But I went out and I won all those titles, and I made a decent amount of money doing it. And then when I got my opportunity, I took advantage of it, and I won my fight, and I got to the UFC. So, I mean, in my mindset, I was 1-3 when I started fighting. I'm 17-7. I went on a bunch of win streaks. I beat a bunch of people I was not supposed to beat. And now I'm in the UFC. So in my head, I look at it, I lost my last 2 fights. I'm about to make the biggest fucking comeback that anybody's ever seen, because I was 1-3 and now I'm here, and then they'd be like, damn, this dude lost his first 2 UFC fights, now he's the champion. And like that if your mind's not there, then I don't deserve to be where I am, or I shouldn't be where I am, but it's not. I think I want to be the champion. I just things need to be right. You know, if the puzzle piece doesn't fit, I need to stop trying to jam it in there. You know what I mean? And that's just really what it's coming down to now. I need to fix things, fix my training, fix the way I'm eating, which I have, fix that weight class. I moved up to 55 for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're getting there. It's all up. People think you just wake up and you're like, hey, I want to be in the UFC. I'm going to be in the UFC. That's what I thought when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now I'm 29, and I'm like, fuck. I look back and I go, shit.
What was I thinking?
like it took a lot. I'm tired, but you know what? I'm super amped, and I'm hyped. I am where I am. So
that's good.
What did that process look like into doing UFC? Like you said, you won other titles. Like then do you get an invitation for a fight? Like how does it work?
Oh, well, I mean, compared to even over the last 10 years, the sport's progressed so much, and
right.
you know, it used to be, I don't even know how you got into the UFC before, to be honest. Like, I think you just kind of fought and you moved out west, maybe, and you kind of just knew somebody, and somebody said, hey, look at this kid, or you had a manager, and there was like, you know, a lot of people, you know, you have a popular manager that sends a lot of people to the UFC, you can contact that dude and try to see if he'll help you out. But now, dude, to be honest, now you just need your phone, you need to talk shit, you need people to like you and shit, or hate you, one of the two.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to actually fight and fuck people up, and go on, you know, these shows. You can go on, they have the whole UFC Fight Pass.
Yep.
You can just go to UFC, get on a show that's on UFC Fight Pass and win,
Yeah,
and then get noticed.
Contender Series.
Series.
What was Brendan Schaub on?
He was on Contender Series. Dana White's looking for a fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's so many different ways to getting on there.
And that's what you did, right?
And that's what I did. But you know, 10 years ago there wasn't that, and so to be honest, I didn't know like how I was gonna get in the UFC. I did notice one thing though. I was like, dude, all these guys that are in the UFC, they're older. And I remember thinking that when I was like 18, I was like, dude, when I'm 20, I'm gonna be in the UFC. And then when I was like 25, I think 20 came, and I was like, man, when I'm 23, I'm gonna be in the UFC. And then I was like, man, when I'm 25, I'm gonna be. Swear to God, that's how it happened. And then life hits you, and you're just like, fuck.
I'm almost 30.
Yep. I'm like, oh shit. And this last one really hit me hard. Like, I just remember sitting in the bar, and I was bar backing at Camp Bar in Wauwatosa, and I was hanging out with Dan Gonzalez at the front desk.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking to him, and I worked at the bar, and we drank and had fun, and I would just, you know, I was kind of just in a weird funk, like for a year. You know, a lot of shit had happened to me in 2015. 2013 was horrible. 2015 was pretty bad, and a lot of stuff happened to me, and I just didn't know if I was gonna come back. And my mom goes, again, my mom. And
oh, you're day one right there, man.
And you know, she goes, so what's going on with fighting? Are you still gonna fight? And I had already won all those titles and shit like that, had some kind of recognition. And I go, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And she goes, well, I thought you were gonna make it, and I thought everything was gonna be all right. And I was just like, oh, how would you tell me that? So yet again,
so blunt, I love it.
I went home and I packed my bags. And I woke up early the next morning, and I fucking drank some coffee from the hangover, and I fucking went back to training, and I went on a 4-fight winning streak, got to Contenders, and won that, and I got to the UFC. So it was, and that was over a span of a year.
So that was that, would you say, your lowest, I don't want to say lowest point, like the point to you were closest to giving up?
Oh yeah, dude, I gave up a bunch.
Did you?
I gave up a bunch, but, and I told somebody else this, I was like, dude, I gave up a lot because, if you feel like you've tried everything and it just doesn't work out that first time, you're just like, you're sitting there itching your head like, dude, I thought I was fucking doing it right. You know what I mean? I thought I went to Rufus Sport. I trained with Anthony Pettis for fucking over a decade. You know what I mean? Like, I was a sparring partner. I'm fucking sparring with El Matador Sanchez, and I've pretty much been coming up with him. You know what I mean? Like, me and him have been going at it, and like, I'm learning with him, and I'm learning with the team, and and I'm just like, dude, like, I don't know what else is gonna work. You know what I mean? But something always pops in my head. And I always fucking, talk myself into going back, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna work this time. It's gonna work this time. And
Some people call that insanity.
Yeah, dude, but I know that you're insane when you go back and you do the same shit. I come back and I do something different that nobody fucking expects.
There you go.
And I made it work every single time, you know what I mean? And then if I had a downfall, then I came back, I did something different. And I got a good idea of what I'm gonna do different this next time, but I just can't tell you guys.
No, keep that trade secret. We touched on kind of just the come up of the UFC and what it's really done for MMA as a sport. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that. And you mentioned one of the biggest things, and that's having a personality, I would say it.
Yeah.
To become a trade name, such as like the Conor McGregors of the world, who some like to argue whether he's even a really good fighter, but he just gets paid a lot of money because people will pay to watch him fight.
He has a mouthpiece and he does fight. He's a fighter.
Yeah.
He's gone through all the same struggles everybody else has gone through. I see a lot of these young fighters out here and they talk about, man, I'm poor, man, this and that. Homie, I was poor. I got evicted from one of my places. I was homeless. I was fucking, dude, it was bad. I was selling plasma. I was digging the trash for fucking bus tickets. Do you know what I mean? I understand. I get it. Just keep going. Just keep going. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, if it's really for you, you'll keep going. If it's not for you, you won't keep going. And it's okay. And go find something else and be great at that. Just go be great at something. And I tell people that, don't be down about if the shit didn't work out for you. I wanted to be a professional skateboarder when I was a kid. I skated at Four Seasons all the time.
Four Seasons, man. Bring it back.
I was at Four Seasons all the time. I got 4th in the Do Tour. I got 9th in the Do Tour out of 40 kids. And I was good. I was decent. But that was my dream. I just didn't have the fucking money to like keep buying boards that I'd break, and you know what I mean? So eventually I hurt myself and I was like, maybe this isn't for me.
You know, you'll get punched in the face every time.
Yeah, I'm fighting a couple years later, and I was like, I like this.
Have you had an injury from fighting yet?
Just one. I've never broken a bone, and I broke a bone. Yeah, I broke a bone behind my left eye, and it's a light fracture. It's not even. It's like paper thin. They said it's a paper thin bone that just split, and that separates my eye socket and my sinuses. So when I got punched, I hit the dude with a straight in Contenders, and I knocked his mouth guard out of his mouth. And then he hit me with a straight, and when he hit me, my vision split. So it's like I'd see two. It's like if I was looking at you, there'd be two of you.
Dang.
And so I was like, fuck. And I just remember thinking, well, I'm gonna swing at both of you.
Mid-fight, you're fighting two guys.
And I was like, I'm fighting both people to fucking check it out. Like, it's going on. So I swung at the one, and literally you see me swing big, and I was like, fuck, I miss him, and he goes this way, and I go, bam, knock him down, and I get behind him and choke him. And they were like, well, what were you thinking? And I just told them what I just told you.
Saw two of them out there, didn't know which one it was.
So yeah, both of them, I don't know what else to do.
That's
awesome. So when you think about like your career and stuff, do you have like a little highlight reel, like a sports center, or just like a Jordan Griffin top like 5, 10 that you just like play back in your head?
Dude, there were a couple of like fights I wasn't supposed to win, but I won them, and I think those are huge confidence builders. And even these last 2 fights, you know what I mean? Like, I went out there and those guys were extremely hard, and you know what I mean? They didn't beat me up. You know what I mean? I can't take pride in that. Hell no.
Decision fights always suck.
I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
So I have to come back harder. But yeah, like there's definitely parts in my gushing blood. The doctor put and they literally just called my name to come out. So they put a shot in it, they stitched it up, and they put tape on it. And I went out there and I beat the shit out of this dude that was his hometown. They wouldn't stop the fight because it was his hometown. He went unconscious. I swear to God, he went unconscious like two separate times. And I just kept hitting him, and he retired after that.
Sheesh.
And I just remember thinking like, yeah, this shit's made for me. Like this sport's made for me.
You were like, I did that.
Yeah. I was like, man, maybe I am like talented because I was like, dude, I think I was 3-3 then, and I was just like, man, like this shit's getting harder. But the work ethic was there, the grind was there, I wanted it, and yeah, so that, and then LFA, I got a cool armbar in LFA, and I just need one of these highlights or one of those moments in the UFC. I just need to like break the ice, you know what I mean? And then I'll break the ice, I'll be fucking good. So I just gotta grinding towards that.
Okay. So you just talked about grinding hustle. So like, what in your opinion, what do you think like the number one thing someone needs to make it into the sport is? I mean, do you think that people have that natural talent?
I think just in life in general, you just have to be willing to take criticism. You know, I think that's hard for a lot of people.
Okay.
They can't take criticism. I don't know. You know what I'm saying though? They just don't.
Coaching.
It doesn't hit them right. You know, what I'm doing is the right way to do it. Well, if it was, then you'd be somewhere different. You know what I mean? Fucking just being resilient, taking criticism, you know, being honest with yourself and being honest with the people around you. You know, that's the stuff that I think a lot of successful people, and then making really hard fucking decisions, you know what I mean? Because, you know, some people make decisions and they're selfish decisions that only benefit them, and other people make decisions because they think it's just best for the group or it's best for their circle. And I've had to make both of those decisions, and that's hard because you're like, dude, I love you. You're like, I love you, but you're fucking me up right now. You know what I mean? So I just think making all of those decisions is just a part of the process. And you know, that I feel like you see a lot of successful people who come across who have to do that. You know, either in MMA or business or anything. You know, they gotta fucking make decisions and be hard on it. You know.
No, definitely. That's a kind of a perfect segue into this next question I had.
Yeah.
Boy.
So, I mean, you've obviously been fighting for a while now. Like, what type of life lessons have you learned there that have been able to transfer over into now, you know, opening a business soon, just like that work world?
Oh man, life lessons. I don't know, dude. I'm learning a lot of life lessons right now because I have a son and stuff, and learning. You know, I got, I think I was real like rough and tough for so long, and you know, he does stuff and I get upset, and I'm just like, it's like I'm upset with him, but I'm like, I get it. You know what I mean? You know, he's four, so
yeah.
I'm just kind of like, man, you're killing me, you know, but I'm just like, okay, come on, let's go over here. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know if that's like even the best answer for that question.
What about like things you learned from fighting though?
Oh, from fighting?
Yeah.
I think from fighting, it just made me all around like fighting. So you're asking me how fighting's like shown like throughout my life, like life lessons like that.
Yeah.
Persistent.
Okay.
I'm extremely persistent. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I want something or if I think I need something, like I'm gonna just keep going. I'm not gonna try to ask, hey, can I have this? No, I'm gonna keep trying to earn it, keep trying to earn it, keep trying to, okay, I didn't get it right this time, like I had mentioned earlier. I didn't get it right the first time, I gotta change things up, I gotta come back, and I gotta do it this time. And you know, I have ADHD, dude. So like, shit, I gotta read a book like 15 times to even for that shit to take in. And with MMA, it's always been kind of cool because like I feel like it's kind of like that in MMA, but not really. Like I feel like I catch on to things a little bit faster. And but yeah, persistent, staying persistent. If you love it, you're just gonna keep doing it, you know. And I feel like that's one thing that I've really translated from MMA to my life. If you really love it, you'll make time for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You make time for it, you're in and out, and you know, people, oh, Jordan, how do you have so much time to do this or do that or do that? And I said, if it matters to you, you'll just do it. You'll wake up and you'll make time for it. And you know, that's just like, I tell my little brother all that stuff too. I hate sounding like I'm preaching, but
No, not preaching at all, man. Not preaching at all. Maybe to them you are.
yeah, they're some bullshit.
But that's actually something I've learned a lot this year, is kind of, if you want something, you'll make time for it. Or really, and I've kind of used this term prioritization, right? It
Yeah.
kind of takes stock of all the things in your life, the things that you do, the people. What's the most important, what's the thing that gives you the most joy, as well as the most benefit, and kind of just go down there. That's what I've started doing anyway. I'm not sure if that helps at all.
Yeah.
Go ahead with any questions you have. You're typing away over there. I just gotta. I'm curious.
Well, I've learned now that I gotta take notes, and when people say cool stuff, so I don't have to go back and listen to the entire thing. Like, where the hell was that?
Got it.
I said some cool shit.
You did. I have a question because one of your UFC fights was at the Fiserv Forum,
Yep.
which I found out after the fact I was there,
Yeah.
so I didn't even realize it.
I was the first Milwaukee fighter to fight in the Pfizer Forum. In
Yes.
the UFC. Yes.
That's only the Sergio is fighting later.
Yeah, he's fighting later. Yep. You know what? And I don't
It's so
care.
true.
And you can tell him. I'll still take it. I'll just be like, yeah, I was the first. To fight in the Pfizer Forum because Anthony previous years had fought at what's it called?
Isn't it the Bradley Center?
The Bradley Center. He had fought in Bradley. When he fought and won that title in the Bradley Center, real story. So I was at home sitting on the couch, and my buddy comes in, Luke, and he's like, he worked at the Bradley Center. He's like, hey man, you want to go to the UFC fights? And I had just gotten off of work. I worked third shift as a CNA at the time. And I was like, yeah, sure. I was so tired. And we get there, and I'm sitting there, and they're like, I fell asleep. I fell asleep in the stands.
While he won?
Yeah. I was like, just so tired. I was like, yay, Anthony. But yeah, I fell asleep, so I was like, shit.
That's hilarious.
It's gonna be one of the hardest events to fall asleep at.
Yeah, dude, I was dead tired. I was like, I guess I'll go to the UFC. event. It was like my first UFC event I ever went to, and Anthony won the title, and I was like, dude, he's a fucking beast. Like, whenever things get real hard for me, like where I'm just like, man, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do it. I don't know, you know, where this money's gonna come from or how I'm gonna achieve this or achieve that. I literally look at like Anthony's social media and just see what he's done and think about when I met him. You know, I was 18 or 19 and I met this dude and I didn't know who he was. And I was in high school with Sergio. And me and him were on the same wrestling team, so Anthony had come to a couple of the wrestling meets. But other than that, I didn't really know who Anthony was.
Mm-hmm.
But I see how far he's come, and I'm like, in my head, it was always like, I literally would ask myself, like, or I would tell myself, like, if Anthony can do it, I can do it. Like,
Sure.
like he comes from the same place I come from. Like, I can do it. Like, why can't I be them? You know? And I'm still telling myself that. Why can't I be them? And I think that's something that's helped me out and motivated me a lot. So.
That's, I think that's really important because I think it shows that like somebody can love something so much and be working towards it, but you still need that motivation. You still need to kind of look at other people going through the same things or have gone through those same things.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with needing a little push or needing a little extra motivation, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And you see, whenever I don't ever ask a whole lot of questions, but whenever I do have questions, like I'll ask Anthony or Sergio or Duke or any of those because they've been there.
Mm-hmm.
They know better. So why would I go into some situation blind when I'm like, dude, I got all these dudes here who've done that shit. Like, how many UFC fights has Duke Griffin been to? Too many.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cool. I'm gonna ask him what's up.
Right.
Or Anthony what's up, or Sergio what's up, or anybody else. So.
And that goes back to your comment about coaching and being able to take that, and also having the awareness to ask those questions. Sometimes I feel like, especially in a sport that takes, and don't take it the wrong way, some sense of cockiness to be like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking go and I'm gonna win, right? You need that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that I feel like can carry over maybe to a personality for some fighters, and not necessarily know how to answer or ask those questions or anybody.
Yeah, it's really weird, dude. I'll meet some people and they're like, I just thought all MMA fighters were douchebags. And then you're like, you don't even seem bad. And I'm like, thanks.
And no we're tap-out shirts, bro.
I'm like, what? You know? But, you know, just guys out here trying to make money and trying to be successful and have fun. And, you know, I definitely picked a fucking crazy career. I know that. So, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad. I've always said that. And fucking, I feel like I managed that pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
Until now.
The highs and the lows of life.
Yeah, and it's just like anything, dude. I could have went. My mom goes, again, my mom, she goes, what did she tell me? She said something about, she was like, I'm sitting there, I don't even know what I did. Oh no, it was after I lost. It wasn't UFC fights, but it was before when I was losing. I had lost a fight. I was like, fuck, you know, I was just down and out. She was like, well, you could have went to college, but you chose this. I was like, damn!
Like, you're right.
Like,
So,
you stabbed me in the heart. Like, what is wrong with you? I just walked away. I was like, God.
in what, pack your bags? Go get it?
Pack my bags and fucking fly somewhere else. No, but you know, she was right. You know, you pick what you're gonna do. You pick the bed to lay in. And I think that's, you know, when things get too hard, if you walk away, it ain't for you. You know what I mean? So things have gotten they've been hard for me, extremely hard. And I always stuck it out. And it was always nice. You know, it always paid off in the end. Later on, I was like, fuck, I'm happy.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I think that's true. You kind of, like, to go through those hard times, you have to almost be thinking that this is going to work out. Because otherwise, you are kind of crazy.
You have to believe it. Like, you have to believe it. I had one friend tell me, hey, Jordan, not gonna lie, man, I thought you were gonna get your ass whooped a couple times and then quit this. I was like, damn, fuck you. We're still friends.
I was going to say, and you were like, yeah, we don't talk anymore.
We're still friends, but I was just like, it blew my mind when he said that. I was just like,
Sure.
like, why?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. So when you did drop out of college after a year, did your mom support you in that, or did she kind of think it was a mistake? What was that like?
She moved up north, so I was commuting to UWM. She moved up north and lived up there for a very long time up until this point. So I was 20 or 21. I was 20. She moved up north. I'm 29. She just moved back recently. So she lived up north on the res. I'm part Native American. She moved up north on the res, and she's always supported it. You know, she says all those, you know, comments and stuff, but she's always supported what I do. You know what I mean? And she, you know, maybe she has her little opinions and stuff, but it's nothing too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know she means well, so I'm just kind of like, okay. You know,
Sure.
yeah, she's always supported what I do. My grandmother and my Uncle Charlie you know, supported me in everything I did too as well. You know, so.
That's awesome to have that kind of support system there, especially
Yeah.
if you make that switch.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
You're getting that, but then also the people that'll kind of like push you to reality. You got that good combination.
Yeah.
There's people that tell you straight, dude, this is my thing. I can't stand when people, like, I don't get it a lot, but you just know when people kissing your ass.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And I'd rather have a bunch of people that are gonna tell me straight, hey Jordan, you suck. Jordan, you suck at this, you suck at that, you need to work on it. And I'll take that over someone saying, Jordan, you did amazing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
did amazing. You know, because that's the shit you can really build yourself off of. Jordan, you suck at striking. Well, guess what? I went and spent a shitload of time on the mat striking, and I'm better at it. Jordan, you should probably be more dominant on top. Well, I'll get back to it, and I'll work on it, you know? So you can always work with that shit. You can't work with, hey man, you did amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You're a champ.
You never grow.
Yeah, you never grow. You can't
Fuel
work
for the fire right there.
Yep, for sure, so.
Got any more questions?
I got none, man.
Oh,
No, lot.
I got one for you, but I want to save it to the end.
Jesus Christ.
Just
All right.
ask them.
Well, I do have a question because it's one we've asked before, and I'm actually kind of curious. I feel like you may have answered it already, but I just want to ask it. You know, if you were gonna take it, we had a time travel machine here, basically, right?
Yeah.
And you were gonna go back 10 years, 5 years, any good point in time in your life. Where would you go, and what advice would you give that version of you?
I would, man, I'd move back to, or I'd go back to 2012, and I would tell myself, move in with your Uncle Charlie.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Why is that?
Yeah, he died in 2013.
Mm.
So, yeah, you know, he's just kind of doing his own thing, and I feel like if, you know, he asked me, hey, you want to move in with me? And I just remember being like, you know, I was 20, and I was like, no. I don't even know how old I was. How fucking old was I? That shit just happened so fast. So I was like 22 or 23, and he asked me if I wanted to move in with him, and I'm pretty sure it was November 2013. He asked me if I wanted to move in with him, and he had went to jail for like some really bullshit thing because he got pulled over for drunk driving. But what had happened is he was drinking, and his car was on the wrong side of the street, swear to God. And he literally got in the car and put the car on the other side of the street. And he's like, the cop saw me and like still pulled him over, and he got in some trouble, but he was, you know, he went to jail and then got back out and stuff, and I just remember him being like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, and, you know, you wanna move with me? And I just remember being like, nah, you know, because I was too busy, you know, hanging out with my friends and, you know, living on the east side. And so if I could go back, I'd go back, and I'd be like, hey, Charlie, let's go, you know, let's go here. I made plenty of mistakes before that and after that, but that's the one. I'd go back.
It speaks to you as a lot of person. I think it's the first person we've had on that like, didn't go back and tell himself like career advice. You know,
Yeah,
that's
like
life
money and
advice.
decent. Like, yeah, that's important. I think that's important just in general, right? Like, especially that age, like 22, like you're just so self-centered and so focused on just the now and being with the friends, doing what's cool, whatever that may be for you, you know?
Yeah, and dude, I just remember thinking like, man, I'm so dumb. Like every day I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But dude, after he died, you know, I went out and he died. I got evicted from the place I was at. And all this other bad stuff happened to me, and I just remember going out, and I went on a huge win streak after that, and I just fucking absolutely just tore through everybody, and I went back to Rufus Sport. That was actually probably it's 2009, and I've been there for 7 years, but it was like on and off, whatever. So yeah, it was probably like 2012 or 2013 when it happened. But basically, I went on a huge win streak. I ended up back at Rufus Sport, and I just stayed at Rufus Sport the whole time. Through that, after he had passed away, you know, so.
That's awesome.
Kind of told myself, I was like, cause I think it was weird, it was like I was winning a couple fights, but it was almost like I was afraid to be successful. I was afraid to push to the next level, and
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what, dude, it was a weird fucking feeling. It was like I was just afraid. Like I sparred Anthony, and I remember sparring Anthony, like I think I sparred Anthony when I first sparred Anthony, and I was like 18 or 19. I sparred him fearlessly. I was just like, whatever, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Then I learned the game a little bit. Some years had gone by, and I'm like 22, 23, and you know, Anthony got me and beat me up. And I think I just, you know, I was in and around other gyms, but I had sparred Anthony since then. You know, he fucking beat me up, and I just remember telling Duke like, "Hey, you were right. I don't train hard enough." I literally sent him a text. I was like, "You were right. I don't train hard enough. Everybody's right about me. I'll come and I'll train harder." He said, "I'll see you Monday." And I just remember showing up and seeing Anthony and telling myself, I'm gonna spar Anthony every day. As much as I can spar him and Sergio, I'm gonna spar everybody until I get better. And then that's what I did. I fucking grew from there, you know? So.
It's interesting. I feel like fear of success is something that's true in any profession, whether it's business, you know, any sport. I don't know what it is, because some people are just afraid to be successful.
It's hard to take that fucking leap because you just don't know if it's gonna work out.
Exactly. It's that leap, it's the change.
Yeah.
It's the fear. Even if it's like a good percent chance, if there's a 5% chance that you'll fail, like I don't want to take that fucking risk.
You know? Yeah, they
People
don't.
are super risk averse.
Yeah, they don't. Oh my god. You know what? It's funny. It's almost like saying, hey, if you won the if you buy a lottery ticket, there's a 100% chance you're gonna fucking win, or 99% chance you're gonna win. There's that 1% you might lose. Dude, it's the same thing in like starting a business or going for your dream. You know what I'm kind of getting at?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, dude, there is not a 100% chance you're gonna fucking do it.
Never.
But if you do, you might hit the jackpot and fucking have a great time. You know, do a lot of good things with that money and help some people out, or help yourself out, or do whatever. And I think that's again, maybe that's one big life decision that maybe I've learned from MMA is taking that risk. Starting the it's called George HC Property Management.
Good plug.
Going into that, like, I'm like, dude, no second thoughts. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get into real estate and do the MMA and do the real estate and not go to school. Definitely down. I'm like, cool, I'm good on that decision. And I was studying. They're like, oh, there's property management. There's other shit where you can get licensed to like just come in and do inspections.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, property management sounds like a good, like I could bring in monthly income doing that. And ever since I got that idea popped in my head, I was like, let's go do that. So I went and signed up for the classes. I went and got my LLC.
Nice.
I went and and I'm doing it all. And dude, I'm just doing it fearlessly. Like, and I'm 29, and I just think, man, if you could if I could go 2 times back in the time machine.
Yep. We had 2
I'd have to get up with Charlie first, but after that, I'd be like, hey, okay, move in with Uncle Charlie, and stop fucking around. You need to
I think that's what most of it. Stop fucking around. Get your shit together sooner.
So I would do that.
Oh, that's funny. Man, I'm not sure what time we want. Do you wanna?
We're at like perfect timing to kind of start wrapping her up.
Sure. What's this question that you've been holding on for me?
Yeah. So what I want to start doing is just throwing a random question each time. It's kind of a little bit deep. I want to start doing this every single one. I feel like I don't ask you enough questions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you. I'll ask both of you this too. Do you believe in, and it's not really that time yet, but I don't know why this one popped in my head. Do you believe in New Year's resolutions?
Oh, interesting. I believe in the idea of them.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that it has to be something that like, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds, or I'm gonna do this. I think the idea of trying to better yourself at a certain point or a starting point is important, but I think it's just become too commercialized in my mind. Like I made the last New Year's resolution I made was 2 years ago, and it was just to write more. Like I enjoy writing poems, I enjoy just writing in just as a journal or even short stories, and like I stopped doing it for years, and like I wanted to get back into it. So it wasn't like I'm gonna write 5 pages a week and do this. It was just like just write more than you did before.
Just do it, just pump them out.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about New Year's resolutions?
Dude, I think New Year's resolutions are fucking trash. I think they're trash. I think everybody just lingers and holds on to that shit until maybe March, and then they're like, damn, I don't think I want to do that anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like trash. It's like, dude, you could just set a goal right now and fucking start tomorrow and stick that shit through and write the date down today, and 1 year from now on the same fucking date, then if you didn't like it that whole time, then you can go back to your old life. You know what I mean? Like, I just think they're so trash, and I've definitely done them before and stuck them out, and then there's other ones where I've done them and I'm like, why would I even do that to myself?
I would say though, like for that though, it could give you a good way to try something new. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because like it took me forever to finally go do jiu-jitsu. Like if I would have made it a New Year's resolution, I could have found out that I loved it and been doing it for years now.
You know what I really like is that movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey, where he says yes to everything. And I was like, dude, that shit is so real, because think of all the opportunities you're missing out on because you said no. Who even knows why you said no?
Yep.
You don't even know why you said no. You just told somebody no that probably offered you a really good opportunity, but you're like, fuck it, nah, it's not worth my time.
That movie's like changed the way I answer questions for that.
Yes, dude, I love that movie.
Now we own the marketing agency, no?
Dude, Jim Carrey's so fucking like funny, but he's so wild. Like you see all the new shit, like just him talking. You're like, dude, how could this guy who's so goofy? Like he has so much knowledge.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah,
He's a little crazy now, though.
Is he a little crazy?
He's starting to lose it a little bit.
Beard.
Yeah, the beard makes it. The beard, yeah. I saw your Instagram story. Your mom said you look homeless.
Yes. Yeah. Again, that's my mom and her very dry sense of humor. She tells it how it is. test it out, it is.
Oh. What do you think about New Year's resolutions?
So I pretty much am like spot on with views. I think that they're like a cool theory,
Yeah.
but I think it's bullshit that people wait until January 1st. Like people have New Year's resolutions, probably stop like popping up in their mind now. And it's like, all right, why the hell are you waiting until January 1st? Like, you're gonna be in that gym if that's your New Year's resolution, and it's gonna be the busiest fucking time. And you are gonna be there with everyone else, and then all those people are gonna slowly diminish. It's just so funny, like going to the gym, and it's cool seeing everyone just like so gung ho about it. But then it just, I wish they would just stay around.
Well, that's almost the worst part about it, because you start, like, I think part of, like, especially for maybe people who don't have a singular sport that they're working out for, they're just going to the gym to go to the gym. It's so much more fun to have, like, a class. Like, when we had Nate on, we talked about making co-motion a class and making it fun. That makes it easier. So
Those
whenever...
classes are really fun, by the way.
I did, saw you on Instagram.
They're hard as fuck, dude. I was like, my muscles, this is an MMA.
But I think like you get in January 1, January 2nd, you get into the gym, you're pumped, you're on, everybody else is like, yeah, we're all gonna lose 20 pounds. And then, February, 10 people have left, and then you're like, oh, well, they left, and then you're like, well, we'll keep going, and then another 5 people leave. And it just almost like in your head, you're like, well, all those people left, why am I still here, right? You almost need to go when it's dead and just be that one person in the gym.
Dude, I think that's hard because I think a lot of people really strive off of the hype of like fads. Is that what you call it?
Sure.
Yeah, like
Trends.
there needs to be trends. And that was one thing that really set me apart from a lot of my friends. And not saying they're not my friends anymore, but like there's some people I just don't hang out with anymore. Hey, Jordan, what are you doing today? I'm going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Hey, you want to come to the gym with me, do jujitsu, or you want to go lift? Nah, man. Nah, I don't want to. You want to come to the bar with me, Jordan? Nah, man. I don't want to go to the bar with you. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I tried really hard. I mean, I still do it. I'm like, hey, any of you guys want to do jujitsu? I got friends from like middle school. No, Jordan, we do not like.
I've been asking everybody, dude.
Yeah.
And like I had somebody hit me up one day. It was like, you want to go to trivia? And I was like, I can't, man. I got jujitsu. And they're like, sorry, like. I just don't want to go to a bar one day.
We're like Jehovah's Witnesses.
Just going door to door. Have you heard about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Have you accepted jujitsu in your life today?
have you had somebody try to choke you out?
That's funny.
But like, okay, well, let's talk about that. Why should somebody go to Jiu-Jitsu? Because I think it's awesome. It's a great workout. I mean, but let me...
You know what? I think, the people should come to Griffin Sport because of the environment, but they should do jujitsu because of the environment and just the way it makes you feel. Like to be honest, it's like family. It's like family. Jiu-jitsu is like family. It doesn't matter if I was at Griffin Sport or anywhere else. Wherever I go in the world, people are going to know that I am a purple belt under Carlson Gracie Jr. Out of Chicago. I'll get recognition for that. Anywhere you go in the world, once you become blue belt, blue, purple, black, brown, black, like everyone's going to know who you are, where you're from. You know what I mean? If you show up at school and you're like, hey, I want to roll, they're going to call around, hey, you know this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
There's some mass file. They have everybody who does jujitsu in there and they look you up. But you know what I mean? Like, jujitsu's given me this relationships, plenty of very good friendships I've gotten through jujitsu. People, I've seen it where, kids getting bullied and stuff like that, learning self-defense, learning self-control. You know what I mean? As far as, just because you can beat someone up doesn't mean you should go out and just, do it.
Right.
And I feel like those are things that kids, not only kids, but adults, like everybody needs that shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just feeling the love, you don't got friends out in the world, guess what? You got friends on the mat. You know what I mean? I'm rolling with you, and I could roll with you and choke you out and we laugh about it. You can't get that shit anywhere else.
No.
That doesn't exist. Like, you hurt, or you choke somebody else or tap them out, they're not gonna give you a pat on the back and tell you, hey, that was a great job. I'm gonna use that next time.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, everybody should do jujitsu or at least try it out. Just give it a shot. If you don't like it, then I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, try it. I think everybody should at least try it because I think it's not only a great physical activity, for me it's been a great mental activity because it's a chess match. When you're actually rolling with somebody, there's different moves. You're trying to defend something while you're also trying to attack or set up for an attack while also worrying about it. And honestly what I've gotten the most out about it. It's an hour out of my day that I'm solely focused on one thing that's not getting choked or getting into an
I
alcohol.
think people get really bored with just working out. Like I've heard that before too. They're like, dude, I don't want to go to a gym and go on a treadmill for 1 hour. I'd rather be actually learning something and getting a sweat. You're in those fucking
Geese.
geese. They're hot in there, but it's fun.
It's a lot of fun. I leave class smiling almost every time, and like I don't know what it is about it, but it's just been And to your point, like about it's the nicest like sport that involves choking ever. Like I'll be rolling with somebody and like I'll get like knocked in the head on accident. I'm like he's on top of me like about to choke. He's like, "You alright? You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." Like, we're good.
I always joke with people and tell people like,
all right. So
one last thing I do want to say about New Year's resolutions quick. I feel like it gives people an excuse to put something off longer too. It's like you think about it now and it's like, all right, I'll do that in January. It's like now you're giving yourself 2 months to just fucking think
break
about
up
it.
with you on New Year's. This dude has like a New Year's. So this dude has something going on.
Everyone comes around. He's sitting there with a bottle.
Do you hate New Year's? I fucking hate New Year's too.
I enjoy New Year's. Just not the resolutions that come.
No, you're right though, but especially when it comes to diets, because it's like Thanksgiving. Let's start that in January. Let's get through all the holidays and be fat.
I just feel like if you want to eat just straight trash all year round, then that's just go eat straight trash. If it makes you feel good, do it. You know what I mean? But you gotta deal with all the consequences of eating all that shit. When you're laid out, heart attack. You're like, I should have had all those burgers.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Okay, so this was awesome. So thank you for coming on. This was a great conversation. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you on the internet, on social media?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JordanGriffin29.
Boom. And then train at Rufus Sports, so go check it out. I'd recommend coming in for jiu-jitsu. They offer a lot of different times, even on the weekend, Saturday, during the day in Tosa, so check it out.
Yeah, come check it out. And we also give discounts to students, and I think military and like police and
First responders?
Right, yeah, I think we give discounts to them too as well. I'm pretty sure. I have to check. Don't take my word for it.
You can also check out their website.
Just check the website out there. Don't listen to me.
Eric, where can people find you if they aren't already following you?
Oh man, Eric_Hess 22.
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter. I don't use Twitter. You can follow me there. And then just friend me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or LinkedIn.
And at Social Surge Marketing, almost every top
business. Yeah.
And then me, at Jakubitz, at JAKUBICZ on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. But Andrew Jakubitz on everything else. So follow me, add me whatever it is on that social. Podcast is the Casual Millennials Podcast on every single streaming platform. So wherever you're listening to this, and on YouTube. Share it with your friends. That's the best way for us to get out.
I forgot you were there.
Jordan forgot he was on video. And so yeah, please share with your friends. Please rate it if you can here on iTunes. Give us some stars, however many you want to give us. And then check out our website too. Show it off to people. Eric spent a lot of time on it. It's very pretty. And then one last plug. November 14th, Milwaukee Startup Week. We will be doing a live podcast at the Hive in downtown Milwaukee. We have 3 mini podcasts. We have about 20 minutes long. 1 confirmed guest, which will be the owner of the Hive. 1 of them will be picked from the crowd. And then 1 is TBD. So come, tickets are free. You just got to go sign up on their website and check it out. So yeah, we hope to see everybody there. Thank you again for listening. Cheers, everybody.